Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today's video is a good one. I'm going to show you how to retrieve real-time data using a web API in Microsoft Access. All right, what is a web API? Well, it stands for Web Application Programming Interface. A web API basically lets you exchange information with a website. You can send requests, you can send data, you can get information back from them. Lots of different sites have APIs. Google, GitHub, Amazon, Microsoft. In fact, a little while ago, I showed you how to send text messages using Twilio. I'll put a link to that video down below. But even if a site doesn't have an API, you can still use this technique to get information from any web page. If there's a site out there you want data off of, you can just request it and it'll bring it back. Now, in the near future, we're going to be doing some lessons using ChatGPT and the OpenAI web API. So we're going to be able to talk to ChatGPT from Access. That's going to be really cool. But today, I'm going to show you just how to send and receive information over the web. Today, we're going to use an internet time server website to get the current time. So you're going to send out a request and it's going to return the current date and time. And this is also a cool technique in and of itself because you can use this for your employee time clock. This way, your users can't cheat their time clocks by changing their system clock. When they clock in, their system's going to go right out to the time server, get the time, and bring it back. Now, for this, I am going to be recycling a member video. I did cover this topic about 3 years ago for the members in an extended cut. Why am I recycling? Well, it's good to recycle, right? No, don't waste. Waste not, want not, right? Why reinvent the wheel? I've already done this. It's been 3 years, and I rightfully predicted in this video 3 years ago that this would be the way of the future, and it is. Everything's moving online. You're going to have to learn how to do this eventually to work with data online. And I also want you to see some of the cool stuff that the members got, right? They got this 3 years ago, so you're just getting it today. More the reason to sign up. All right, now, even though this video is 3 years old, everything in it is still valid. I just tried everything. Everything works. The website we're going to go to, which is worldtimeapi.org, they've changed their interface a little bit, but all the code that I give you in this video works just fine. This is, of course, a developer lesson, so we're going to be using some VBA. Here it is. If you have not yet watched my intro to VBA video, go watch that first. It's about 20 minutes long. It teaches you everything you need to know to get programming in VBA. And yeah. So sit back, relax, enjoy, build this database yourself, and save the code because I'm going to be doing a bunch of new videos in the near future on how to use this to get other information from the web, including ChatGPT. All right, ready? Here we go. Howdy, members. Welcome to the Daylight Saving Time Members Only Extended Cut. I'm going to show you how to go out to the internet and get the time from an internet server. The one I'm going to use is worldtimeapi.org, although there are a lot of different ones. But I went through a couple of them, and this was the easiest one. It looks really cool. It's easy to pull information, and I like it. If for some reason they stop working in the future, it's only a couple lines of code for you to manipulate it and to use a different server. But this is a pretty good one. If you go out to their site, worldtimeapi.org, all right, you get the page here. And you can read all about it. There's different examples, different things you can do. You could specify a time zone if you want to. You got to just format the URL differently. Okay, you could specify the time zone, the location, or region. You can get it in JSON or plain text. We're just going to do plain text. All right. Or what we're going to do today is we're going to use our IP address. Okay. And our public-facing IP address generally tells the internet server where you are. And in my case, it works just fine. But if that doesn't work for you, and sometimes if you're on like a cellular network or if you're part of a virtual network, you might have to specify the location in your URL. But for us, all we have to do is, let me copy it from my other clipboard here. Copy. All we have to do is format our URL like that. All right. Their site, API, and then IP.text. Hit enter. And that's what it returns. Okay? It returns, based on your IP address, it knows where you are. Here it knows I'm American, New York time zone. I'm in Florida, so that's correct. All right, it knows my UTC offset right now is -4 because as of this minute, daylight saving time is active. So I'm GMT -4. In a few hours, I'll be GMT -5. But really, all we have to do is have Access get this information, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, and then read this line right here, the UTC date time. It's got the year, month, day, and then a T, and then the hour, minute, and seconds. And we're just going to ignore everything on the end of that. Okay? And that's literally what we're going to do today is write this code. It's not that hard. Okay, here I am. Blank database. Create a form. All right, doesn't need to be anywhere near this big. Shrink it down. You know me, splash of color, of course. I have to put some color in my new stuff. All right, we'll just go with purple. Okay. Now, I need a button right here. Cancel the wizard. Get time. And then I'm going to need a text box to store that time in. So design, text box, and we'll drop it right there. Get rid of the label, and we'll make this nice and big. I'm going to make this bigger than I need it for now, just to show you everything that's in it. Because there's a bunch of stuff. I'm going to make it really big right now. We'll shrink it down in a bit. And I'm going to call this guy, what do we want to name this? Let's call this UTC time. Okay. And I'm going to make this guy just slightly gray, so the user knows there's nothing to be typed in there. This is just stuff that's being returned. All right, let's save this as my UTC form. And like I said, this is a good solution if you want to prevent your users from manipulating your system clock too, because they will have no control over where it gets the time from. Okay, right-click, build event. Now, you could do this with as little as like 6 or 7 lines of code, but I'm going to expand it a little bit just to make things easier. Now, some of this is going to be new for you. All right, we're going to use XML HTTP, which is a means by which Access can actually create an object that is essentially like a web browser in memory. It's not a real web browser where you can like view stuff, but basically it allows Access VBA to go out to the internet, request a page, and pull it back. All right, it's super simple. You just have to know the right lines of code. First, we have to dim XML HTTP as an object. What kind of an object? Don't worry about it. I'm not going to go into all the details about everything involved. Just it's an object. It's a block of memory out in the computer that Access will do certain things with. Okay? Okay. All right. Then we're going to dim a response text as a string. When I go out to the internet and pull some information back, it's going to be stored in response string. And then ultimately we'll drop it in our form, but I'm going to keep it in response string because I'm going to do some manipulation with it. Okay? Dim my URL as a string. That's where we're going to store the URL that we're calling. We're going to need a couple other temporary variables. Dim L as a long, S as a string. What else do I have in here? Yes, I wrote this up ahead of time because this is one of those things that I know I've done it a million times, but I don't know it well enough to do it like off the top of my head. Like record sets and all that stuff I could do off the top of my head. This I've done, honestly, probably maybe a dozen or so times. I've used it in other applications before, so I'm kind of copying some code that I wrote up previously. And then I declared some different variables for different steps along the way. Like we're going to get back that big block of text here. And I want to store this in the response text, and then I'm going to whittle this down and just grab that out of there with some string manipulation functions. So I've got a couple of different variables in here that I declared. Dim UTC date time string as a string. I'm going to get formatted date time as a string. And then dim final date time as a date. Actually, we're not going to use that date one. Don't worry about the date one, because we're just going to store that value in here. I wrote it that way because you can write this up as a function too. I have it written up as a function, so you can just return that, but we're just going to drop it in the form for now. All right, so first let's set the URL. So my URL equals, what is it? HTTP worldtimeapi.org/API/IP.text. That's straight from them. That's the page that I just took you to, this guy, right, that gets the time information. Okay, and you can pull anything off of here you want to. If you want to find out what time zone your IP is in, there you go. Okay. All right, here's a line of code you're just going to have to know. Set XML HTTP equals create object, and then it's going to be, in quotes, msxml2.xml HTTP. All right, you just got to just type that in. I wouldn't remember that off the top of my head either. Okay. Essentially, we're telling Access, we're telling it, create me an object of this type, and that type is what you use to connect to an HTTP server. Okay? Okay. So right. Now, XML HTTP dot open get, comma, my URL, comma, false. All right? That says open the connection that I just declared. There's get and there's post. The two ways of working with either getting or posting, like HTML forms or just requesting. Get basically is to request a URL just from the query string. Post is for like HTML forms. Again, this isn't a web class. I just want you to know the difference briefly. You're going to send the URL there. And then false. I forget what false is, to be honest with you. I know I pretty much always use it. The problem is with creating an object here, you don't get that IntelliSense, that helper thing. Okay, I just looked it up. I remember now. This is whether it's asynchronous or synchronous. All right, false means it's synchronous, which means the program execution is going to stop and wait for the value to be returned. Okay, if you set that to true, then the code will continue, and you'll have to have what's called a callback function, so that when the data is actually finally received, it can process it, but it'll have to be a different function. It's a little more complicated to process that way. Like Ajax on the web. You know, like Facebook has a like button? Well, when you click on that like, it transmits a signal off to the server to set the like value in their database, and you can keep doing other stuff, and then a second or two later, when the data is actually acknowledged, it returns a value to that button to change to a thumbs up or whatever. And that would be an asynchronous communication. But false means we're doing this synchronously, which means at this point it's going to sit and wait for the time server. Yeah, if the service isn't running, this may time out. That's always a problem. But you have to just go with a reliable service. All right. So now we're going to actually send the data. We've opened the connection. Now we're going to XML HTTP.send. That sends the information, and it's going to sit here and wait now. Okay. And then when it's received, we're going to say response text equals XML.HTTP. XML HTTP dot response text. Okay? In other words, put in my local response text variable what the XML HTTP object returned from the web. Okay? Now, this is something I added myself. When you get that string back from the web, it's going to not have a normal VB new line on the end of each line, which is a CHR10 and a CHR13. Okay? So I'm going to replace the CHR10s with a VB new line. I'm just basically adding the right stuff at the end of the line so Access can process these as full lines. So response text equals replace response text, comma, CHR10 with VB new line. I'm replacing their end line character, which is just a CHR10, with a VB new line, which is basically CHR10 and 13. That's all that is. That's so I can more easily read it in and deal with it in Access. Now, we're done with the internet, so set XML HTTP equal nothing. Destroy the object. Clear the memory. Get it out of there. Okay? And yeah, there's ways to set timeouts in here in case this times out after 15, 30 seconds, whatever. I'm not going to go into that much detail. This is supposed to be just a quick way to get the time. If you guys have problems and you want to see more of this, let me know. I've been thinking about putting together an API class, like a whole seminar on how to get and send information to different servers. There's lots you could do with this, all kinds of different stuff. This is definitely the future. Is the way to transmit information is through web APIs. Okay, now I am going to put response text into a local variable s. That's why I declared s for. S equals response text. Why? Because it's shorter. It's easier to work with. Because I'm going to be doing a bunch with it, as you'll see in a minute here. Okay. And actually, down here on the bottom, let's drop into my UTC time what we got so far, just so you can see it. I'm going to say UTC time equals S. All right, just so you can see how this works. Ready? Open it up, and then get time. Boom, there it is. That's it. It was that simple, that easy. That code, right? all this right here generated that. It went out right to this URL. In my first version of this, in fact, I've got another database that I use. I've got my URL as a text box up here. Here, I'll show you the other one I got. Where is it? Here, right there. Same thing. This is the first version that I built. Returns it here, and then I format the datetime string differently, which is what we're going to be doing in a second. All right, I'm going to isolate this line. Right, then I'm going to format that datetime like this by just manipulating this string, and then I convert it into an actual access datetime down here. Same thing. This is the first version that I built. I wanted to make sure I got this right before I did all this with you, so I don't waste your time. Sometimes I run through stuff the first time with you, just because I'm going off the top of my head. And sometimes I put together a more prepared lesson for you because I care. Most of the time when we're dealing with access, if it's just an access alone topic, I can handle it. I've been working with access for 26 years. I know it inside and out. So coding all that stuff just off the top of my head is no problem. This stuff is relatively new. I've only been doing this with these API calls for a year or two. So this is something I still go off my notes for. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to figure out where in this string is the data that I want. And you know what? This isn't wide enough. Let me do this real quick. Design, because it's kind of misleading because you can't see the string exactly the way I want you to see it. Let me do this. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Don't abuse this, by the way. A lot of times, these places that do free APIs like this, they'll shut off your IP address if you do too many requests. So don't use this and abuse their server and like do 5,000 requests every hour. All right. If this is just for you for like employee log in, log off, or some simple stuff, I'm sure they're cool with it. That's why companies like this make this stuff available online for free. But if you abuse it, I guarantee you they'll shut off your IP address. So next we're going to locate where in this string this is, this UTC date time. That's what I want. I'm going to chop everything off before that. All right, and that's why I declared that L, because here's my next line of code. L equals in string S, UTC datetime colon. So find out the location of that spot right there. Okay? Once I know where that is, then I'm going to say S equals right of S, length of S minus L plus 1. What does that mean? Okay. Take the rightmost characters of S. How many? Well, the length of S, this whole thing, minus L, which is this position, plus 1. So chop off everything but that, basically. Give me the right that many characters. The whole length minus that. Okay. Now, I can take the left 33 characters off of that. Why 33? Well, because this, where is it? Right there to here is all I care about. I don't want those 33 characters. How many characters are there? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. 33 characters. Okay? So that says S equals the left of S 33. So now I'm left with just that in my string. All right, let's set it now. Here, hit the get time again. Ready? Boom. That's what I got left. Okay, see, we're getting there. We're whittling it down. Now that I've got that, I'm going to say, here comes the next line of code. I'm just copying off my other database because why not? And there. Okay. Formatted datetime equals mid S22. So find character 20. Where is it at? Hang on. Get over here. Mid S20 comma 2 slash. All right, so it's month slash day slash year. So month is right there, 20 comma 2. All right, day is 23 comma 2, so these two. And then the year is mid S15 comma 4. All right, if you're in Europe and you want to do it backwards, I don't mean backwards, but how it actually should be. I prefer the European standard myself, where it's day, month, year. But just flip those around. And then the time is the right 8 characters. So right there. Right 8 characters. All right, once you got that, actually, I'm just going to say we don't need formatted datetime, do we? No, we don't. Let's get rid of that. And we don't need UTC date string, do we? Well, no, not really. Get rid of that too. We could just say here, we could just say S equals that. Get rid of this. Fit all that on one line. That should work, right? Yeah. All right, save it. Get time. Boom. I used extra variables in my code because I was setting things like, I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, setting other fields and stuff. But you don't need to do all that. All right. In fact, what you could do now is you could say UTC time equals C date, like that, and it'll make sure S is formatted as a proper date. There you go. All right. It is currently 11. So it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we're 4 hours behind UTC. Now we don't need this big, gigantic field. I just wanted to put that in there to show you all the stuff, right? And now the data that's in this field is stored as an actual time, a time value, date time value, because we formatted it using CDate. It converts string to a date. So now I just hit the date, get time, boom, there it is. No matter where you are, no matter what time of day it is, it's going to go out to the internet and get the time off of their server. If you want to change your time server, go right ahead. Same techniques will apply. All right, there's the code. It's pretty easy. If you want to turn this into a function, just do this. Watch this. Say public get UTC time, like that. Public function, sorry. Public function. Okay. And then take all of this stuff, cut it out, paste it up here. Okay. And then right here, we have to return a value as date. Okay. And then here, actually, I'm going to copy this down here so I don't forget it. And then here, change this to that. So the value of the function get UTC time is right here. Okay. So now in your button, and you can put this in a global module if you want, so your whole database can use it. Okay. Like I said, don't abuse it though. All right, now you just say UTC time equals get UTC time, just like that. Save it, and still works. Yes, I will put this in the code vault for you. Okay, I'll put a link up to it in the description below the video. Okay, there it is. I put it in the code vault. A lot of people ask me what the code vault is because I show it all the time. It's basically a repository I'm saving of all the different projects that I've been building over the years. It's not ready for prime time release yet. I'm going to make it a subscription-based service where there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's tons of Access VBA. There's generic VBA. It doesn't look like a lot yet, but I've got lots and lots of stuff that I haven't added here yet. ASP. And yeah, you'll be able to access all of this for a low monthly fee. But some of it's going to be free, like the stuff I just put in here for this this class and the free video. But yeah, so it's in here. I'll put a link in the description below. It's just get UTC time is the URL. Or you can just type it in. Don't be lazy. Just type it in. I'm just kidding. I copy stuff too. Want to send a shout out to World Time API. They'll probably never see this video because it's a members only cut, but if you use their service, I strongly recommend you give them a couple bucks, donate. All right, cost some money, servers, all that stuff, and just to show appreciation. And you can tell them I sent you. I'll probably do some additional API lessons in the future because this is pretty cool stuff, and it is the way of the future. And it's an easy way for you to not only get, but also to send information from your Access database. I've done other lessons in the past where I've used the web browser control, where you actually can load a form in an Access web browser, fill it in with JavaScript, and then post it back up by hitting the send button. That's the old school method of doing it. The new way with APIs and with JSON and there's all kinds of cool tricks now that you can use. So I'll be covering that more, probably more in my developer lessons, but maybe I'll do a couple tech help videos for it too. It's a lot more advanced than the average Access user is ever going to use, so there's not a lot of demand for it. But I thought while I was covering a lesson on daylight saving time and internet time and all that stuff, I'd throw this in there for you guys. Because I love you. All right, so that's it. Hope you learned something. That's 2 today. You guys got 2 members videos today, which is good because that's going to have to hold you over for a couple days. I have to work on my Access Developer 18 class tomorrow and the next day. So you're not going to get another new members video probably. Let's see, today's Sunday. No, today's Saturday. Probably till like Tuesday or Wednesday I'll release another one. I'm going to be doing
progress bars with record sets in my Developer 18 class, and I was thinking I might do a simple progress bar release for a free tech help, and I'll give you guys a little bit more information. The actual progress bar with record sets is going to be a long lesson, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, have a good night, happy Halloween, and take it easy. We'll see you next time.
So there you go. That's how you get data from the web using a web API. In future videos, we're going to do a lot more with this. Again, make sure you visit WorldTime API, and if you're going to use their service, give them a few bucks. Make a donation. All right. All of their examples, by the way, used to be on the homepage 3 years ago. They moved them up here to examples, and there's all the different ways you can interact with their data. If you want to watch the original videos where I built that time clock, here's the daylight savings one. This is where I cover the internet time server for the members. And here's the video in the extended cut where I show you how to send SMS messages through the Twilio API. And again, that's in the member-only video. And if you want to learn a lot more about it, I cover web APIs in more detail in my Access Developer Level 32 class. I show you how to FTP a file up to a web server. I show you how to build a currency conversion database. These were tech help videos, but here I show you how to get the rates from an API, get the current currency conversion rates from the web. What is the currency conversion right now? Well, that's what we're going to do in this class. All right, so there you go. There is your tech help video for today. Like I said, coming up pretty soon, ChatGPT. We're going to use Access to send queries out to ChatGPT and ask it stuff and bring that data back into our database. And eventually, we're going to learn to talk to it to be able to get it to do stuff in our database in real, like, English. So it's going to be cool. I got a whole bunch of lessons planned. A lot of it's going to be free, so stick around. There's your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the Tech Help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any Tech Help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for Tech Help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.